In this segment, we're featuring a new publication from our Jubilate music imprint, and this new publication is a cantata by Robert Sterling and John Parker titled There Is a Rose. And with us today in our studio is Robert Sterling. Welcome, Rob.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you. And tell us about There Is a Rose, Rob.
You know, you say it's a cantata, and it is a cantata
Right.
for those folks who are looking for a cantata, but it's so much more than a cantata.
Absolutely.
We cooked this up in your office,
Absolutely.
if you remember. We were looking for something that would work for the traditional church, and we came upon the idea of the suites of carols for leaning toward a candlelight type of service, and that was the seed, the germ from which it all sprung. And then we recruited our buddy John Parker to help us finish it up. And what we've ended up with, like I say, is a cantata, but it's also one of the most flexible choral products I've ever created, because a church can use it in its entirety, start to finish. A brief program could do it on an evening service or even on a morning service if they wanted to, and still have time for other churchy activities. Or because it's designed with an introduction and then 4 suites, how many Sundays do we normally celebrate Easter? Advent. We've designed a suite for each Christmas Sunday of Advent season, so you could unveil it one Sunday at a time if you chose, and put a suite along with your regular Sunday morning Advent service music. And so we really went to a lot of trouble to make this as user-friendly as possible.
Well, that's great, Rob. I mean, and I've been publishing Christmas cantatas for over 20 years, and I must say I'm as excited about this and more excited, I think, than anyone I've published, honestly, on the traditional side of things, because it is fresh, and we call it a carol cantata because
Right.
it's filled with carols, and we're going to be hearing some of those carols as we get into our digital reading session. So the opening to the cantata is called Christmas Intrada.
Mhm.
So tell us just a bit about this.
It's something of a kind of a processional, if you wanted to use it that way. It's a new piece written by John Parker and myself. We wrote this for this as an introduction to Christmas, and it's in 6/8, and it's got Celtic's kind of overused, but it's got a kind of a bounce to it, a nice hand drum and cello energy underneath it all, and it's I kind of use the men and the women antiphonally in it. They trade back and forth with an Alleluia, lift up your voices, back and forth kind of thing on a static thing. Then they all come together to sing the verses, and it's not difficult. It's not very long. It's just right to get the program going with a very nice energy.
Great. Okay, so here now is Christmas Intrada from There Is a Rose. Okay, now we're going to listen to some sections of the first suite, Restore Our Joy. Talk about that.
It's the Advent, the prophecy portion of the Christmas story. Restore Our Joy is a new piece John Parker and I wrote to anchor this little suite, but it also includes Come Thou Long Expected Jesus and Comfort Ye My People. It did a little twist with Come Thou Long Expected Jesus, the old Harwell tune, did it in minor. Rather than the traditional major, so that it kind of fits with that whole prophecy, the mournful thing that happens, with a little introduction of the There Is a Rose tune that's going to come and weave throughout this whole work. And you'll note also that John did a very clever thing. All the narrations are poetry that he devised around the There Is a Rose poem.
Beautiful. Here now, Restore Our Joy.
Comfort ye my people, speak ye peace, thus saith our God.
Comfort those who sit in darkness, mourning 'neath their sorrows low.
Speak ye to Jerusalem of the peace that waits for them. Tell her that her sins I cover, and her warfare now is over. Like a flower in a winter, hope has withered in our hearts. Cool and dry our barren spirits, waiting for the rain to start. O God in heaven, reveal your plan. Send down your rain to heal our land. Restore our joy. With your cool, refreshing rain, make us to blossom. Like a rose on Sharon's plain, we pray your mercy and compassion to employ. Send us Savior, O Lord. Restore our joy. With your
Rob, the next suite is Christ is Born. What's in that one?
Well, Christ is born.
There you go.
This is the for the Sunday where you would celebrate the birth of Christ. The familiar tunes that are in this are Away in a Manger, He is Born, the Divine Christ Child.
Love that one.
Pat-a-Pan, which I had some fun with because I hit a little rum-pa-pa-pum, a little salute
Yeah, it's
to
great.
a little drummer boy in
Yeah,
there.
it's great.
Good Christian Men Rejoice, and I Saw Three Ships. I melded together those two at the very end. So vocally, I think your choir is going to have a great time singing this little suite.
Absolutely. Here's Christ is Born.
Lord Jesus, asleep on my way. Oh, come, little children, to witness this sight.
Our God has come down to be with us tonight.
bring your fife and come and be merry while you play. Do-re-do-re-do, paddy-paddy-pad. Come be merry while you play. Let us sing on Christmas Day. When the men of olden days to the King of Kings gave.
All right, our next suite, Rob, is Proclaim the Joy. It's full of a lot of great carols.
No, chock full. Yeah, it is. It's the all the joyful announcing carols. While shepherds watch their flocks, the first Noel, angels from the realms of glory. It came upon a midnight clear. Hark the herald angels sing. Very high energy. Again, I think your choir will have a lot of fun singing it. And it's not as long as you might think with all those titles. It clips along. It moves along very quickly.
Possibly a little congregational involvement?
Oh, great question. Matter of fact, there is congregational opportunities throughout
The entire cantata?
the entire cantata, and I was very careful, folks, to put the congregational singing in congregational friendly keys.
Thank you.
I basically made sure that when the congregation is asked to sing, it's in a key that is pretty much from the hymnal, so that the range of the melody will fall into the everyman kind of range. Yes, and there's congregational opportunities in this one.
Great. Here's Proclaim the Joy.
So rare.
From heaven's garden now he grows, God's one eternal, priceless rose.
Where hope was lost, a seed was found, a tender shoot from barren ground, growing tall beneath the sun, the seed of God, the Holy One, the Son of God has come to earth, of lowly state and humble birth, sent to raise salvation's horn, our hope restored when love was born.
For we were helpless sinners slain, God's love has made the curtain straight. Abundant mercy He has shown,
All right, Rob, the final suite now we're going to listen to When Love Was Born.
That's a new song from John Parker and I that we combined with O Little Town of Bethlehem and Silent Night. And let's go back to the original Genesis, because you remember you were talking, when we first created this, we were talking about carols and candles, you know. This is the suite that is designed that if you want to do a candlelight service, perfect for this. It's very quiet, it's very sweet. The whole thing ends, it's nice for a Christmas Eve service or even a Christmas morning service if you wanted something very, very endearing for your choir to sing. And that was where we've finished this off. We end with a whisper.
I like cantatas that end with a whisper, because so many end with a bang, and
Right.
that's all nice and good too. But it's nice to have that
Every now and
contrast.
again to
Yeah.
go a different direction.
I
Exactly.
agree. I agree.
Yes.
So here's When Love Was Born.
Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight o'er all the earth. He who sang creation's story now proclaim Messiah's birth. Come and worship, worship Christ the newborn King. Come and worship, worship Christ the newborn King. O ye beneath life's crushing load, whose forms are bending low, who toil along the climbing with painful steps and slow. Look now for glad and golden arms, come swiftly on the wing. Oh, rest beside the weary and hear the angels sing. Hear the angels sing. Angels sing. Hark the herald angels sing.
Rob, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been great to be a part of this digital reading session, and we're so excited about There Is a Rose. And those of you who preview it and listen to it, I think you'll agree when you hear it that Rob is such a craftsman.
Thank you.
And very artful in your writing, Rob. So we look forward to more things from you. And meantime, though, very excited about There's a Rose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.